Down. Rex Tillerson just took down Joe Biden with 4 epic words. Tuesday's Senate Foreign Relations Committee got pretty heated as Democrats grilled Secretary of State Rex Tillerson over proposed budget cuts to the Department of State. President Trump proposed slashing the State Department's budget by 28%, mostly cutting foreign aid in an effort to put America first. The exchange is epic. Check out the video at the end of the article. During his question, Democratic Senator Chris Coons quoted former Vice President Joe Biden saying, "Former Vice President Biden often said, 'Don't tell me what you value, show me your budget and I'll tell you what you value.' And I'm gravely concerned that the proposed deep cuts to development assistance and diplomacy suggest we don't value diplomacy and development." Tillerson came back swinging with this awesome retort, emphasizing that what matters are results, not funding, a concept many Democrats have difficulty grasping. The statement that, "Show me your funding and I'll show you your level of commitment," I do not agree with. Funding does not equal results. Show me your results and I'll tell you your commitment. So true. Boom, show me your results. Now that's something Democrats don't hear often enough, and he just keeps going. Let's just take a listen to the clip. The media only have had negative things to say about the State Department cuts and won't report on Tillerson's defense. So that's why we have to share this. Isn't that just as usual? Let's take a listen.
Let me just first more broadly say, my predecessor in the seat, former Vice President Biden, often said, "Don't tell me what you value, show me your budget, I'll tell you what you value." And I am gravely concerned that the proposed deep cuts to development assistance and diplomacy suggest we don't value diplomacy and development as tools of foreign policy at a time when we badly need them and need more of them. I think the growing threat we've seen, the attack on our democracy by Russia, the destabilizing acts of North Korea, their nuclear program.
You know, it's as if that we did not vote Trump in on democracy. Our Russian attack on our democracy? No, we got the guy we wanted. We got the guy we wanted. There was no attack.
And the world's worst humanitarian and refugee crisis since the Second World War. Call for us to invest more in diplomacy.
And who's going to pay for that? Called for us to invest more? Who's going to pay for that? The taxpayers? Yeah, really?
Seeing development, not to dramatically cut it, but I'll save the rest of that for the appropriations hearing this afternoon. I understand from your testimony you're nearly done conducting a review of the whole State Department. How soon can we expect nominations for the 6 regional bureaus? I'm concerned about some of the difficulty in moving forward key nominations.
We're at about, I would say, the 50% mark in terms of undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, in terms of people that have been identified. Names are actually being submitted so they can begin to work their way through the White House PPO process, but also for a lot of people they have to get this paperwork behind them, and I would tell you that is no small challenge. As I check on the status of various people we have recommended and nominated to the White House, what I'm finding is more often than not it's the paperwork that is slowing them down. In my own case, I had to hire 8 people to help me get mine done. Most people can't afford to hire 8 people to help them get their paperwork done, so it takes a very long time. But we're about 50% of the way through, and we have other names that are in process. What we're doing, we try to get the candidate list of people we think are would be useful to talk to down to a couple, and then we actually interview them face to face and then make a decision and submit them. So this is a pretty active process. It's one I sit down with the people that are helping me coordinate it about every 10 days just to see where are we, make decisions on other people. If we're hearing feedback, we've talked to folks, maybe they don't want to do it after all. So it's moving, and that's about where we are within the State Department and the bureaus.
It is my hope and expectation, Mr. Secretary, that we'll work on a bipartisan basis to confirm qualified candidates who come forward. I'm concerned about the impact on our embassies in a lot of places in the world that may not be top of the news, but that need an assistant secretary to help coordinate policy. As I've traveled recently, traveled to Uganda with Chairman Corker not too long ago, traveled to Vietnam with Senator McCain recently, I make my best efforts to visit with mid-level Foreign Service officers and with the civil service folks who really run the department. And I'm concerned about the impact on morale of these proposed cuts. One specific concern I've also got is about diversity. Part of the hiring freeze, I understand state has frozen the accession for all current Wrangell and Pickering fellows. And last week, all those current fellows were told these classes were on hold indefinitely. And this is one of the premier accession programs in the Foreign Service and has served as a key tool for improving diversity in the ranks of FSOs. These actions taken to freeze the program, to me, could indicate a disturbing lack of attention to the importance of diversity. What's your plans for these programs, and how do we move forward on diversity initiatives taken by previous administrations that are worthy of continued effort?
Well, I'll follow up on it, Senator. I don't think we've frozen the Wrangell and Pickering programs. In terms of people that are in process, we're continuing, and we're going to continue to take applicants as well. But let me follow up with you, because I don't think there's a full freeze in place.
My understanding is they're being asked to make very difficult choices in terms of seeking employment elsewhere while they wait for the next opportunity for an entry-level class. And you can imagine how someone with a lot of skill and ability would find it quite difficult to go take another job while waiting an indeterminate period for an opening in the State Department. In April, I was one of a number of senators on appropriations who pressed for additional money for emergency funds to address famine conditions in Nigeria, South Sudan, Somalia, and Yemen, where there's roughly 20 million people at risk of starvation. And the congressional budget justification accompanying your FY18 request notes unusually high carryover funds. I think the estimate was $1.3 billion in IDA funds. Why weren't these funds obligated in the year they were appropriated by Congress, which was 16 and 17? And what is your longer-term goal? I'm concerned about impoundment and whether or not these funds, which are critically needed to address famine, might instead be reprogrammed or returned as unobligated balances.
Let me thank the Congress for the big plus-up in 2017 in recognition, as you point out, of some serious challenges around the world. I think, Senator, our intention is to get that deployed in a way that the food shows up, the relief shows up where it is needed. I think what you're seeing is how difficult it is to execute on some of these areas. And so having the money, having the funds are certainly appreciated and needed, but then we have to be able to deliver, working with other aid agencies and working with the situation on the ground to have the aid reach those most in need. Our expectation, as we've reflected, just wanting to be completely transparent with everyone, is that we are pushing that out as quickly as we can effectively do that, but that we are going to have some carryover as a result of the plus-up. I think when we get around, it's a broader budget question as to, you know, it is difficult to execute a $55 billion budget for the organization. And so the statement that show me your funding and I'll show you your level of commitment, I do not agree with. Funding does not equal results. Show me your results and I'll tell you your commitment. And that's what we're trying to get the folks in the State Department is, what are the results? And then I'll tell you what I need to deliver on those results. Giving me a pot of money and suggesting that confirms our success and our commitment is just simply, I have to take exception to that. I've never had that experience.
Absolutely, absolutely. Show me the results. This thing has been going on for years. They've been throwing money at it for years and not accomplishing anything. So who's pocketing the money? And creepy Joe Biden should shut his mouth too. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.